Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. Thank you to everyone who attended my live stream on Sunday. It was so much fun to go through all of the different points about what Meghan said and what the actual truth is. And I wish that more people would really look to see, well, who is this Meghan Markle girl? Don't just look at who she is and then just be so quick to defend her without knowing the backstory. And so we were able to talk about all of that and being able to really sum it up in a way that, you know, we know the truth. We know the truth. If you didn't have a chance to watch it live, be sure to catch it. I have already uploaded it so that you can see it. And next time, try to catch me when I'm live. It will usually be on the weekends. And then I also wanted to address Kate Middleton when she went to go lay flowers from her garden about the young girl who was murdered by the police officer. I thought that was so sweet, and you can really see how humble Kate is. Her humility really shines through. She didn't come with makeup. I'm not even sure if she even had her bodyguards. Even if she did, I didn't see them. And I think someone that was there just happened to catch the video. It wasn't like she staged a photo op. So, you know, this is the kind of person that you can really respect, because you can see they're doing something because they know it's the right thing to do. And we know Kate ain't conniving and trying to do something for this other career she's trying to get off the ground. So you really have to admire someone with that kind of heart and compassion. I'm excited to talk about this next story. So I had spoken about Rose Atkins Hulse before. She's the other woman of color who actually looks like a woman of color. And you have to admire someone like her and look at her story and look at Meghan's story. And you can see the right way to do something and the wrong way to do something. This lady got it going on. She's done it the right way. And that just lets you know what kind of person she is, the character that she has. And it's so sad that people who are so quick to defend Meghan don't really consider, well, who is she? What's she about? What's her story? They just want to say, oh, the royal family being mean to her, we're going to say something. We're going to call that out. And I saw yet another journalist that I listened to a lot who was doing the same thing. And they don't follow the royal family. They don't know nothing about the royals, the comings and goings of any of these things. But yet this journalist, Roland Martin is his name, he was so quick to defend Meghan that these people are going to see when it all comes out what kind of person Meghan is. And they're going to feel really jilted. They're going to feel like they were duped by the princess, because she is not who they are trying to portray her to be. They know nothing about her story to comment on it and to really give credence to anything that they saw in that Oprah interview. So going to this article about Rose, this is always so good. Just like with Lady C, when I said she was coming out with a book, now we've got this Rose Atkins Hulse to be the example that we all need and want, because there has to be a better version of someone like Meghan. And Rose Atkins is that person. She really is. And I'm so happy she spoke out about this. The parallels are striking. A stunning Californian who fell for an aristocrat. Here she says, I'm an African American who married into the British upper class and made it work. It's sad that Meghan couldn't too. And it really is sad that Meghan couldn't. But, you know, she is highly motivated, Meghan, to get her career going. And this is what she is doing to essentially get her career on that right path that she's always strived to have. There was also an interview done on Vice on YouTube that talks about Meghan's coming into the royal family. And I just can't watch these documentaries anymore that don't really look at what the actual issues are. Like, since when do people just not understand that your character, who you are, how you carry yourself, how you speak about people, when does that matter? And just like all of this that's going on with Piers Morgan and Sharon Osbourne, it really has gone out of control. And for somebody who has wanted to bring people together and to give stories of inspiration, the whole Archewell Foundation, you know, if anything, they have created a bunch of divisiveness in this country. When Meghan Markle married Prince Harry in May of 2018, oh, here comes my Mr. Otis. Hi, Otis. Okay. Megan Rose was also an independent, dynamic, successful, and beautiful African-American 30-something woman who fell for a thoroughly blue-blooded Brit. You want to go out? Okay. He just comes and goes. The year before the royal wedding, Rose, CEO and founder of Screen Hits TV, had married into the British aristocracy, and the wedding was an elegantly grand affair which featured in the pages of Society Blue Tatler magazine. And I just love the idea that Rose is this entrepreneur. She at one time did want to be an actor, but she saw that she had her passion to do something else, it seems, and went on to create this really successful company. And it's a really, really neat idea. Screen Hits is a aggregate app which allows you to take all of your different streaming services and have them in one place, and you can watch all of the different streaming services that you subscribe to through this one app. Essentially makes your life a whole lot easier, and who doesn't want to have their life easier? I know I do. I'll leave information about the Screen Hits in the description below. So the ceremony at St. George's Church in London, Hanover Square, was followed by a gloriously multicultural reception at Spencer House, which is owned by the late Princess Diana's brother, Charles. If anyone knew the challenges of adapting to a new world shaped by centuries-old tradition, etiquette, and unspoken rules, it was Rose. More than that, she also understood the huge responsibility Meghan was taking on and the pressures she would face, making history by becoming the first woman of color to marry into the royal family. I was so happy for Meghan and Harry and felt honored that someone of African descent had been provided with one of the largest platforms in the world, says Rose, who in 2017 married George Hulse, the grandson of a baronet. I thought Meghan would have a voice to reach every person on this planet, and that they would listen and over time would incite change and influence policy. Rose could see it. She could see that, you know, Meghan was going into something that she was going to be able to do on a really big scale. We all know the story. But looking at how Rose saw this and looking at how Meghan has behaved, you can see that Meghan knew what she was getting into. And had she just followed that, you know, instinct of, you know, my new responsibilities, we wouldn't be in the mess that we're in now, you know? And Rose was able to do what Meghan essentially did not want to do from the day she married Prince Harry. She didn't want to do it. We all know it was a career move. And I don't say that lightly, but if you look at everything that has happened, you will come up with the clear picture of this woman has a motive, a clear motive to use this opportunity to make herself independent. She knew the responsibility she had coming into the royal family. She had to. She said it in the interview for the engagement video. But then she's going to whine on Oprah, the interview with Oprah, that she had no idea what she was getting herself into. Like, it's ridiculous. So finally, I believe someone with African American roots could be a voice for all people of color and to help educate people. It was a very powerful thing for me. And that is so key what Rose is saying here, that Meghan could be able to educate people, because it's about learning. It's about seeing something that's not common and seeing, oh, she's doing such and such, and they've never had such and such. And people are learning vicariously through Meghan and her new platform. But what people are seeing now is they're seeing the ugly side of all of this. They're seeing a woman who is out for herself. And that makes everyone look bad. All of these bad and ugly stories about Prince Harry and his brother William, I mean, it's just gotten very nasty. And it's not necessary. It's like she's done something to really ruffle the waters in a way that makes so many ripple effects throughout the world. Negative stories are popping up everywhere, all from what Meghan has done, all because a woman is so motivated by her own entitlement to do what she wants to do. And it's not looking at the bigger picture of the platform and responsibilities that you have. We have Piers Morgan now has lost his job, or he quit over this whole Meghan story. And now we've got Sharon Osbourne, who is being criticized for taking up for Piers Morgan, and other negative, ugly stories are coming up, and it's going to get worse. And I just wish people could see that Meghan has done something with very clear intentions to not do something that was beneficial. It wasn't beneficial for them to go speak to Oprah. So it was with a sense of overwhelming sadness that Rose last week watched the Duchess of Sussex nuclear interview with U.S. interviewer Oprah Winfrey. And I'm sure Rose was appalled. She was like, oh, Meghan, Harry, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? I'm sure, I mean, a lot of people were like, why are you there? What is the purpose of your being here in this interview? It's like they are upset. They want what they want, and they're going to tell the whole world, hey, look, we didn't get everything we wanted. We thriving, but we thriving part-time. We need to be thriving full-time. Give us the rest of the things that we want. Rose is in a position that is just like Meghan's, very similar. And she can let you know from the point of view because she actually looked black. Okay? If anything, Meghan, she going through, you know, kind of ambiguous to like where she from. And Rose, there ain't no question. She's a black woman married to a Brit. So what she says and how she sees this, she's in those upper class of people that Meghan's around. So she's going to have the same experiences as Meghan, right? But you got to look at Meghan's motives. So let's hear how Rose has interpreted all of this. So she goes on to say, growing up, I had always heard that the royal family and the institution was racist and that no royal would ever allow their bloodline to be muddled, she says. Well, they proved that wrong with blessing Harry's marriage to Meghan with their full support. Exactly. So that right there should let people know, wait a minute, hold up. Now, they did let Harry marry the girl, but you're going to still call the royals racist now, knowing that they've allowed this union to move forward? There's something to be said for that. They've allowed it to happen, but no one's recognized that. Like I said before, people are quick to call racism without thinking and looking at the situation. Wait a minute. Let's not go to racism as the first line of defense against something or accusation against something. Let's look at the context of everything. They've allowed them to get married. There may have been some that felt that it was too soon and that Harry should take his time. But when he made it clear he was truly in love, his entire family was there to support him. And not only that, Prince Charles even walked Meghan down the aisle. Now look at that. So if they're racist, and if someone had asked a stupid question, why was that allowed? Why was that even allowed? They should have been like, well, Meghan, you gonna walk yourself down the aisle. You going by yourself, girl. Ain't nobody walking you. You know how to walk. Walk by yourself. I mean, clearly that could have happened if they were really racist. But I see a family that has done something to try to learn and to be more inclusive and to be better. We have to look at people making the effort and trying. This is completely foreign to them, having someone of color in their inner circle. And a lot of people would make comments about, well, you know, the royals can't be racist because, you know, the queen goes to all the commonwealths and she interacts with people of color all the time. Yes, and that is true. But at the same time, there is a difference when you allow that person to marry into your family. It's like, okay, you can go have lunch, but you ain't marrying them. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the same thing. So don't try to, I'm setting this example aside. Like, you know, I'm just saying in general, you can't say someone is not racist because they talk to black people or they've done things to help, you know, the people that are mostly black in this country. Yes, that is good. But there's a lot to be said when you allow that a black person to actually marry into your family. And to have the people that were a part of the wedding who were black, the choir and the archbishop. There were people that were at that wedding that were a part of that union that otherwise would not have been a part of a royal union, but they were. So you have to look at that as well. Okay, there's a lot to look at, and we've got to stop being so quick to call people racist. It does nobody good, and it makes really uneducated accusations about somebody or an institution. It's like there's all these examples of showing that you're not racist, but they're gonna look at this one instance, someone asking one little question, you racist. You done all these things that show you're not racist, but this one time, some misunderstanding, we're gonna label that as racist. Don't y'all see that? There's something to be said about that. One person making the question about, well, what color is the skin of the child? Was it going to be too dark? Or, you know, they could have been followed up by other things. Wow, man, a woman of some color and another one with red hair. Man, what that child gonna look like? You know, there's all kind of questions because that's a mixture you don't see a lot. What is the likelihood of it looking like this and this and this? I mean, like, that's just something people speculate on. Come on now. So Rose is sure that Meghan would have received some excellent advice from people in the royal family, but based on her own experiences, this is what she, as a fellow African American, would have suggested if asked to ease the transition. My advice would have been to understand the structure in which the royal family operates and to do your best not to take anything personally, she says. I would have encouraged her to understand and to seriously consider all she would be giving up, because we know she was giving up a lot, and she did it because she loved Harry. She said she loved him, so she gave up a lot, right? For love. For love. She would have been the first acknowledged member of the royal family with African descent, and with that comes great responsibility, followed by anger, jealousy, and people trying to push her to fail just to prove that everyone's concerns were correct. She would always have to be the one step ahead and to rise above all of the challenges and to represent with dignity and prove everyone wrong who doubts that she is not suited for this role and position. And that, my friends, is so key, because Meghan failed at that. Meghan failed at showing that she was able to rise up above and against the racism. Meghan failed at that. She wasn't able to rise above all the bad things that happened, because we're not saying bad things didn't happen. They did. But in contrast to all the love they were shown, it definitely outweighed some of the negative. And Meghan failed at that. She did, because she should have been able to see that she has got a bigger responsibility here. She is doing something of a first. And now that first example has been tarnished. We don't have, in the modern day age, a woman of African descent in the royal family who was able to overcome the things that the naysayers were saying about her. She proved them right. Because think about it like this. People are going to look at this union that are not going to like it. right? And then they're going to see, oh, she ain't gonna do good in this royal family. Look, she gonna fail. She ain't gonna do what she's supposed to do. Look, she's black. She's not gonna be able to do it. She's going to get in that royal family and just ruin it. And you know there were people saying that. And there's always going to be people saying negative things, right? But it's your responsibility to rise above that negativeness and show people that you have it in you to be strong and to overcome the challenges that you know you are going to face. And Meghan knew she was going to have these challenges. She knew she was going to be up against some things that were going to be difficult. But she didn't try. She didn't try. She was like, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. It is time to go rule the world. I didn't have my map up. I was looking like something don't look right. I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, oh, my map. And it's back up now. So you're not seeing things if you just now noticed it. But anyway, going back to this article, I think Rose is the voice of reason here. And we really need to look at what she's saying. I think if anybody's going to try to do some kind of research and, you know, before they make any comments or defending Meghan and, you know, look at somebody who knows what they're talking about that's in a similar situation as Meghan to really understand it. You owe yourself that. Not only that, but you owe it to Harry and Meghan so that they can see that they need to be accountable for the choices and decisions that they are making. If we give them a pass and just let them claim racism, what are they learning? What are they gaining by being the ones that have done everything right? Are they not accountable for anything that they've done? They're now allowed to go around and just point their fingers at people. You wrong, you wrong, you wrong, you racist, you didn't give me no money, and you said this about my baby being dark-skinned, and you took away my security, and you. But wait a minute, hold up. You got to look in the mirror. You have got to look in the mirror and say, wait, what about me? That's the only way any of us in this world can become better, is when you start to look at yourself. It's not until they look at themselves that they're going to be able to say, wait a minute, they are the ones that are able to calm the ripples in the water because it started with them. And that's the only way this is going to ever get to a place of resolution. And I believe when they finally do get to that place, they're going to come out and apologize. They might still be married, or Harry might be doing an interview on his own and Meghan might, I don't know. But it's when that happens that you see true accountability and you see that the things will start to subside and they'll be better. So while the Sussexes enjoy a new life in the $11 million mansion in California, Rose couldn't be happier here, far from the beaches of Santa Monica where she grew up. Happily married with 2 young daughters, she loves this country so much, including rainy holidays in the Scottish Highlands that last year she became a British citizen. Racism is a global problem. There is no escaping the reality of it. I've had a few shocking experiences, but they do not reflect the majority of people I've met here. Sometimes it just comes down to someone not liking you for something that has nothing to do with your skin color. Rose remembers that her future husband's family and friends were protective of him in the early days of their romance, but not because of her color. She says, I didn't grow up here. They didn't know me. I didn't go to their schools. And most of my husband's friends had known each other since they were 7, she says. And I remember going to Scotland for a weekend and every one of his friends had asked me very direct questions to try to get to know me. I wasn't offended and took to it as an opportunity to get to know them too. Meghan has not come into this family to try to bring the families together, despite knowing that people are going to be looking at her with the side eye. They're going to be like, who you? What you want? Why are you here? Of course. She didn't do what Rose has done. And if anything, if Meghan is going to put herself in a position to bring people together and to start this foundation to, heal and to hear stories of people doing good things, well, shouldn't she set the example for that? It doesn't seem like Harry and Meghan have been able to rise above any of the difficult circumstances that they have for the sake of getting along. Now, is that racist, or is it someone who is concerned for the well-being of a future family member? For someone who has never experienced racism, they may have concerns on how this will affect the young children's life and what they could do to protect them. Why couldn't Meghan get a friend like Rose? Oh my goodness. It's like Rose is teaching folks. This article is really teaching you, because it's raising questions and other ways of looking at things that I haven't even looked at. Royally teachable moments, folks. That's what I'm saying. We teaching folks. Amen, Rose. Amen. Girlfriend is really letting us see a new perspective. And who better to get this perspective from than someone who is in a very similar situation as Meghan. And so we can see that Meghan she couldn't handle it. So I don't think it's right to beat up on the royal family about what they've done for thousands of years and say Meghan is right for what she's doing to these royals. No, I think if anything, we should just say, Meghan, it just wasn't for you, girl. It just wasn't for you. It's just like, okay, bye. But she ain't got to go doing no interview with Oprah and calling out the royals and creating problems and divisiveness like that. She didn't have to do. If you needed time, take off. But don't try to bring the rest of everybody else down with you because you having a bad day or you're in a mental state of fragility. And this is what I find that sums it up very well. Rose has summed it up very well with this. Meghan, too, has a platform, and her words are very powerful. She needs to use them wisely, for they can unite or create great divide. When life gives you a platform, you should always use it to unite. I think we would have all been much better had Meghan made the wise choice to use her voice that she says she got back, use it to unite rather than divide.